Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it is time for your Leeds versus Crystal Palace pre-match chat. We are back under the lights at Ellen Road Tuesday night, just less than probably 24 hours from when you're watching it now. It's a big game for Leeds United. I would go as far as to say it's almost a must-win. We've got two home games now after an absolutely dire performance against Brighton. We got a point though, and if you win tonight and you look at the last two and say, okay, trip away to Brighton, we never do well. We won Palace at home, 4 points from two games, has a much better look to it. But it is vital that we win tomorrow night's game. Sorry, I'm all over the shop, very busy at the moment. Remember, we will have your Premier League preview show because it's a jam-packed schedule for Leeds United and for football currently. But we're focusing in this preview specifically on Crystal Palace. Listen, Crystal Palace are a great side. Patrick Vieira's worked wonders. I was on record as saying that he would be the first manager sacked this season. How wrong was I? He had a bit of a checkered past managerial-wise. There was such an overhaul of the squad, looking at some of the players they got rid of, like your likes of Scott Dan and Gary Cahill, that seem to have been around for ages. And they're bringing Joachim Anderson and Matt Guehi from Chelsea, of course, my boy Conor Gallagher, Elise. And these are great players and have a good future ahead of them. But it was such an overhaul. And with Patrick Vieira in charge, I just didn't see it working. How wrong was I? Because Crystal Palace have started absolutely fantastically, and they're in a great run of form. They've avoided defeat in 7 of their last 8 Premier League games, winning 2 of them and drawing 5. Their 7-game unbeaten run came to an end just on Saturday against Aston Villa, who've had a little bit of a bounce since Steven Gerrard came in. They lost that game 2-1. They did concede their 10th set-piece goal of the season, and that's a Premier League high, so maybe that's something Leeds United can capitalise on. Maybe Pascal Struijk, Diego Llorente from a corner, possibly. We need to take anything currently, don't we? So if they're struggling from set-pieces, let's not mess about. Let's get it in the mixer. That's where I'm at now currently. We're normally used to free-flowing, scintillating football under Bielsa. We haven't seen anything like it this season. So if it means, I don't know, doing a West Ham, and I know they're a great size, but capitalising on the opponent's weaknesses, do it. I remember last season, how many times did we concede set-piece goals? Every time there was an opportunity to get it in the mixer, it was done. Crystal Palace have an all-time, or not an all-time, but current Premier League record of 10 set-piece goals conceded. Let's get it in there. Let's get it in the mixer if we can. But that run has come to an end for them, and they'll be looking to bounce straight back for sure. Patrick Vieira will want them to bounce straight back, and they're coming to a Leeds United that are not in great form. It has to be said. We are not in great form. What I will say though, we do have a good record against Crystal Palace, specifically at Ellen Road. Now I know. I said last time history wasn't on our side against Brighton, and a lot of people say, it doesn't count for anything, but it proved to be true, And if it works out this time, Leeds have won their last 6 home matches against Palace in all competitions. That's something that goes massively in our favour. We've scored at least 2 goals in our last 6 home matches against Palace in all competitions. And to be honest, Crystal Palace have conceded at least twice in 7 of their last 8 Premier League games. So that's a hot start. That's something we can capitalise on. They're conceding goals away from home. We have a great record at home against Crystal Palace. So hopefully we can have history on our side in this game and get 3 points. Because for me, it's such an important game. It's one we have to win. We have to beat Palace. We have to beat Brentford, because then we have 4 of the big 6 back-to-back. Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, back-to-back. It's going to be a tough run. And what I don't want is this football club, my beloved Leeds United, to be in the bottom 3 come January. Don't pick up points in these next 2, then it's happening. And we're seeing teams below us now starting to get a tune out of them. I know Newcastle still struggling for their first win, but who knows what will happen in January. I'm not convinced with Eddie Howe. It is what it is. They'll score goals, but they'll concede many. It happened at Bournemouth. Norwich, they've now got 4 points from Dean Smith's 2 games. Teams are coming up. We've got a nice gap. 3 points over Burnley, but Burnley didn't play Spurs at the weekend. I'm not sure they'd have won or got anything from that game anyway, but, we have to have that in the back of our minds, don't we? Because we are definitely in a relegation scrap. Just looking specifically at Palace and how they'll line up, I suspect them to go with a 4-2-3-1. They're a pressing side. The fullbacks, though, don't tend to play so high, so we're not going to have, Lamptey and Cucurella issue that we had against Brighton, who, by the way, were both great in that game and caused us all sorts of problems. They have the likes of Ward and Young Mitchell, and they're more defensive fullback. We expect fullbacks now in modern football to be so attacking, and Ward and Mitchell aren't quite that. It'll be interesting who partners Mark Guehi at the back, because I believe Anderson's going to be out. He's set for scans on a groin injury, so he's going to be unavailable, which is a positive for us, because he was good at Fulham, and he started great alongside Guehi at the back, who's from Chelsea, along with Conor Gallagher. Obviously, I think that's one of the reasons maybe Conor decided to go to Palace, with one of his best friends already signing for them at the time. No long-term absentees. James McArthur and Nathan Ferguson, along with Anderson, probably won't make the trip. But Eze, he returned to first-team action against Villa after 6 months out injured. Maybe he won't start. Maybe he's not quite up to that level. But we all know about Eberici. Eze is an exceptional player. But just, they've got Elise as well, who I know a lot of Leeds fans would have liked to have seen come in this season for sure. And of course, they've got Conor Gallagher. You guys know my thoughts on Conor Gallagher. I genuinely believe, had Conor Gallagher come in along with, a few others instead of Firpo, maybe Cornet, and I believe we'd be well up the table. Conor Gallagher is perfect for what we need, and he's bound to have a great performance. It's just written for me. But my predicted lineup for Crystal Palace will be Ward, Mark Guehi, Mitchell. I'm not sure who will partner Anderson, in all honesty. The two sitting, the double pivot, if you like, will be Kouyaté and Milivojevic. I expect Gallagher to play in the 10, just behind Benteke. And you'll have Wilfred Zaha from the left. Zaha's quality, we all know that. And he's someone that'll give Firpo torrid time if Firpo does start. From the right, from the left, I'd expect probably AU, which means then maybe Zaha. Maybe they'll switch, actually. You might have Jordan AU, just because he's more defensive than what Michael Elise is, or an Odsonne Edouard is. Maybe he'll go with Edouard, I'm not sure. But I think the front three will be Benteke central, and Cooper will have to look after him. Zaha probably from the left, if AU does start. However, if Elise comes in, expect him to play from the left and Zaha from the right. And of course, they have Eze to come off the bench, who caused us all sorts of problems last season in both them games, to be honest. How will Leeds United look? Well, we heard from Bielsa's press conference that Patrick Bamford and Luke Ayling will play for the under-23s Monday evening. If you're watching this before then, they'll play tonight. If you're watching it after the fact, then they played last night. But yeah, they're not going to make the bench. They're not going to be ready. Maybe we'll see them on Sunday for Brentford. I hope so. I do think that Leeds will match Palace up. It'll look like a 4-1-4-1, but, in-game will probably be 4-2-3-1. I expect Dallas to play at right back. I don't want to see Jamie Shackleton start. It's just my personal preference. Not quite sold on him, in all honesty, and I think a lot more people are saying that. I think people find it hard to say because he's come through the academy, but I'm just not sure on Jamie Shackleton currently. He comes on and gives us energy, and we did improve in the second half, but I'd rather see Dallas in at right back, Llorente and Cooper, and hopefully Pascal Strauch in at left back. I hope Junior Firpo doesn't start, because he was a car crash, an absolute car crash against Brighton. From minute 1 to 45, it was just error after error after error. But Bielsa probably will start him. But I'd prefer to see Pascal in there. KP, Calvin Phillips starts. There's a lot of people, putting two and two together and getting 10. I think we're reading too much into it. I think Calvin's all right. There's people saying no one's bigger than the club. He's had his head turned and all this sort of stuff. Okay, it doesn't look quite right, and I don't think he's been great at all this season, and it could be due to fatigue. He's played in the Euros. He played nearly every minute for Leeds United. He had an injury. He's obviously had an issue where he's got a shiner. What happened, I'm not sure. Maybe they were scrapping. You just don't know. You just don't know, do you? But I expect KP to start. And if he doesn't, I'll be very shocked. And maybe Strauch will play in there. And Junior Firpo could play at left back. But with Bielsa, again, I think, he'll play KP. Maybe I'm wrong. And then we'll have Forshaw in the double pivot alongside him at times. Rafa from the right, Rodrigo in the centre, Harrison from the left, and Dan James up front. That'll be Bielsa's lineup. I personally wouldn't like to see that. In all honesty, I think it's time for Rodrigo to come out of the side, and I think it's time for James also. I think my preferred lineup, guys, would be Dallas, Llorente, Cooper, Pascal, KP ahead of them. On the right, Rafinha, Forshaw and Click in the midfield, Harrison from the left, and Joffrey up top. That would be my preferred lineup. But I don't think we'll see that. I expect James to play up front again, or maybe Harrison, and it just be a little bit all over the shop. Bielsa's trying a number of things to try and rectify this form that we're in. We've seen Calvin play at centre-back. We've seen Llorente play at right-back. We've seen a centre-forward switching of Harrison and James. We've seen it all this season. He's trying to wrestle some sort of control back in the games. And it's not really working out. It's not really working out. Let me know your guys' lineups in the comments. Just a few more stats to finish. As I say, Leeds are the only Premier League side to lose twice when leading at half-time. Normally, when we go in front, we're assured we win games. We see them out. It's not been like that this season. We've also drawn a league-high 5 games at both half-time and full-time. But I'm expecting goals in this game. Just because of Palace's away form and the amount they concede when they are away from home. Don't get me wrong, they're a great side. It will be tough. But I'm going to stick my neck out on the line. I'm going to try to be positive for this game. I'm going to say Leeds, there's going to be goals, and we win the game 3-2. We've scored at least 2 goals in our last 6 home matches against Palace in all competitions. They've conceded at least 2 goals in 7 of their last 8 away matches in the Premier League. They will score tomorrow. I firmly believe that. But I hope Leeds United will as well. We need to make sure that the midfield is compact. We need to make sure Calvin, Forshaw, Click if he's in. This is why I'd start Click as well, because the midfield battle we will lose if Rodrigo's in there, because they will have Kouyaté, Milivojevic, Conor Gallagher, and we'll be chasing shadows thinking, where's this midfield? Because Rodrigo doesn't know what he's doing. That's why I'd take him out. I don't expect he will, but that would be my personal preference, because I can't stress the importance of that midfield tomorrow. And of course, the front three as well. Benteke is in good form this season, although I do think either Cooper or Llorente can deal with him. It's the wingers, isn't it? I hope AU starts. I do, because I prefer to be up against him and Zaha, as opposed to Zaha and Elise or Zaha and Eze. That'll cause all sorts of problems. They're a great side, Crystal Palace. But we can get at them. So I'm going to stick my neck out and say Leeds United win the game 3-2. Fingers crossed that does happen. Thank you, as always, for watching my preview. If you could smash a like on the video, it'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel as well. Get the comments. Hit the notification bell. Join us tonight at 8 p.m. for the Premier League preview review show, because we're reviewing game week 13, looking ahead to game week 14, which starts tomorrow evening. And I will be doing a watch along for the game as well, because due to work commitments, I'm unable to go to Ellen Road, and it's going to be a Leeds United win, and it's going to be 3-2, and I'll be absolutely gutted. So my brother's going in my place tomorrow. But I will be doing a watch along for that game, so make sure you join me. And thank you as always for watching the Just Joe Football Show. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you tomorrow evening or tonight. Peace out. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.